Chapter 3, The Pivot from Stunts to Generosity. By 2017, Jimmy had a respectable following of a few 100,000. The stunt videos had carved out a niche, but he was hitting a ceiling. The novelty of watching someone do something painfully boring was wearing thin. He was successful enough to do YouTube full-time, but he was a long way from his MrBeast ambition of being the best. He felt restless. The analytics-obsessed part of his brain was constantly wearing, searching for the next evolution. He noticed something. The videos that performed the best, that resonated the most deeply, weren't always the ones with the most shocking stunts. They were the ones where he gave money away. It started small. He'd find a Twitch streamer with a handful of viewers and donate thousand. The raw, genuine shock and joy on the streamer's face was electric. It was a different kind of content. It wasn't about him enduring something. It was about him creating a moment of pure, unadulterated happiness for someone else. The comments on these videos were a tidal wave of positivity. "This just made my day. The world needs more of this. You restored my faith in humanity." He had stumbled upon a powerful alchemy. He was combining his hard-won understanding of the algorithm with a profound human truth. People love to see kindness. They love to witness unexpected blessings. He decided to go all in. He took every dollar he had earned from YouTube, a sum that was his entire life savings, his security, his proof that he hadn't wasted his youth, and he decided to give it all away. He filmed himself giving 10 zarozen to a homeless person. He tipped a pizza delivery driver 10 zarozen. He walked into a car dealership and bought a car for a stranger. These videos were a sensation. They broke the algorithm. They were shared everywhere. They were covered by mainstream news. MrBeast was no longer the weird YouTube guy. He was becoming the YouTube philanthropist. This was the pivotal moment. It was a terrifying risk. His friends and family were alarmed. "Jimmy, you can't just give away all your money. What if this doesn't work? What will you live on?" But Jimmy saw what they didn't. He wasn't just giving away money. He was investing it. He was investing it in content, in his brand, and in the emotional bank account of his audience. He understood a core principle that would define his success. The more you give, the more you get. It wasn't a spiritual mantra for him, sigh though it had that effect. It was a business model. By creating the most exciting, generous, and jaw-dropping moments for his viewers and participants, he was building an empire of goodwill. The growth was exponential. His subscriber count skyrocketed from hundreds of thousands to millions. The giving away videos were not just popular, they were cultural events. He had found his lane, and he was about to put the pedal to the metal. Chapter 40, The Machine Scaling Kindness. With viral success came the first real revenue. And with that revenue, Jimmy did something no other YouTuber had done at that scale. He reinvested 100% of it back into the next video. While others bought Lamborghinis and mansions, Jimmy bought more money to give away. He wasn't just a creator anymore. He was a CEO building a content factory. He brought his childhood friends, Chandler, Chris, Carl, into the fold, not just as on-screen personalities, but as a core team. He hired editors, managers, and logistics coordinators. The operation moved from his bedroom to a warehouse. This was the birth of Team Beast. It was no longer a one-man show. It was a well-oiled machine dedicated to one purpose, creating the most insane, generous, and watchable videos on the internet. The ideas became bigger and more complex. Last to leave challenges, contestants would compete for a grand prize of 50,000, 100,000, even 500,000 by being the last person to remove their hand from a car, or stay in a circle, or remain in a floating tank in the middle of the ocean, filling a house with Orbeez. A video of such scale and childish wonder that it captivated tens of millions. I gave a random cashier a 100,000 tip, pushing the concept of surprise generosity to its absolute limit. The production value was cinematic. Drones, multiple camera angles, professional lighting, heart-pounding music. Each video was an event. He was spending tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands on a single piece of content. His approach was methodical. He would deconstruct his own success with the same analytical rigor he had used to deconstruct the platform years before. He knew the exact moment in a video where audience retention dropped, and he'd engineer the next video to counter it. He understood thumbnail psychology, title optimization, and the power of the first 3 seconds. He was often asked about the secret to his viral success. His answer was always a blend of data and philosophy. I just think about what I would want to watch. If I was scrolling through YouTube, what would make me stop and click? It's usually something big, crazy, and has a great story. The work ethic was inhuman. He and his team would work 18-hour days, sleeping in the warehouse, fueled by a shared mission and an endless supply of fast food. It was a startup culture on steroids. Failure was not an option because failure meant wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars. The pressure was immense, but it was a pressure they cultivated. They thrived in the chaos. Chapter 5 The Squid Game and Global Domination. By 2021, MrBeast was a household name, a global phenomenon with over 50 million subscribers, but he was still climbing. The summit was in sight, but he hadn't reached it. Then, the Korean series, Squid Game, took the world by storm. Everyone was talking about it. The dystopian games, the life or death stakes, the visceral drama. Jimmy watched it and his mind, as always, began wearing. He saw not just a show, but a blueprint for the greatest YouTube video ever made. I'm going to recreate Squid Game, he announced to his team. The scale of the idea was ludicrous. It would be the most expensive YouTube video ever produced by a mile. They would need to build the sets, design the iconic costumes, hire 456 real contestants, and offer a real life-changing cash prize of 456,000. The logistics were a nightmare. The legal liability was terrifying. The cost would wipe out a significant portion of his company's reserves. Everyone told him it was a bad idea. It was too risky, too expensive, too ambitious. But for Jimmy, too ambitious was an oxymoron. Ambition was the whole point. They built a miniature city for the sets. They cast the contestants from his audience. They employed hundreds of people. The shoot was a monumental undertaking, with medical staff on standby and a level of production that rivaled a television studio. When 456,000 Squid Game in real life was uploaded, it broke the internet. It was a cultural moment that transcended YouTube. It garnered over 100 million views in its first few days. It was perfect, a flawless recreation that captured the tension and drama of the show. But with his signature MrBeast twist, a real person won the money and had her life changed forever. The video was a masterclass in everything he had learned: scale, storytelling, generosity, and flawless execution. It was the culmination of a decade of work. It was the moment Jimmy Donaldson, the kid who shouted into the void, officially became MrBeast, the king of YouTube. He had proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that his philosophy worked. If you want to be successful, you have to be willing to do what others won't. And no one else was willing to risk millions on a single YouTube video. Chapter 6 Beast Philanthropy and the Legacy. With global fame and a business now worth hundreds of millions, Jimmy faced a new question: what now? The answer came in the form of Beast Philanthropy, a separate channel and a non-profit organization. This was the final evolution. It was giving, stripped of all commercial pretense. The goal was simple and staggering: to help end world hunger. He began by building fully stocked food pantries across America, then expanded globally. He would film himself and his team handing out millions of meals. The videos on this channel had no expensive challenges, no crazy stunts. They were raw, emotional documents of helping people in the most fundamental way possible. He also launched Team Trees and later Team Seas, mobilizing his audience and fellow creators to raise tens of millions of dollars to plant trees and remove plastic from the ocean. He was using his platform not just for entertainment, but as a force for tangible, global good. The kid who was obsessed with the algorithm was now using it to heal the planet and feed the hungry. Looking back on the journey, from the lonely nights of counting to 100 Zalos and to orchestrating global philanthropic movements, the through line was always the same. A relentless, uncompromising refusal to give up. He never accepted the limits of what was possible. He constantly redefined them. His story is not just about YouTube success. It's a blueprint for achieving anything extraordinary. It's about the power of obsession, the courage to fail publicly, the intelligence to learn from every mistake, and the wisdom to understand that the greatest returns come from giving the most. He often says, "I'm not lucky." You can't get lucky for 10 years in a row. His success is the direct result of a decade of grinding, learning, and evolving when others would have quit. The final, most important lesson of MrBeast is this: your beginning does not dictate your end. You can be the voice in the echo chamber, the message in the bottle, the seed in the concrete. But if you are willing to outwork, outthink, and outcare everyone else, if you are willing to embrace the pain of the process and never, ever give up, you can build an empire. You can become the beast that conquers your own doubts and in doing so changes the world. Don't give up. Your first 100 videos might get 10 views. Your one at first could change everything. The world is waiting for you to press upload.